Lights max, loading plays like he's drawn the plan. Kinetic, bringing fire like he's leading the band. No matter the game, no matter the sport, we running this pod like it's fourth and short. Press start, locked in, it's game time again. You tune in live to the Sideline Show with Kinetic and Lights max. Let's go, the game of Sideline starts now.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Gamers Sideline, where sports meet the sticks and stories get pixel deep. I'm Mike, aka Lichmax, and with me today is
Eric, aka Kinetic.
And today we got a special show going for you today. We got a special guest that we ended up asking to come on, and he agreed. Kind of the best way to explain it. So without further ado, let's introduce the man, the myth, the legend himself, the Maize Mad Man.
Maize Mad Man, that's who I am. Maize Mad Man, don't give a damn.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us, Maize. How you doing?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Good. College football's back. I've been having a pretty good day so far.
Absolutely. College football is back. That's the most exciting thing. I was checking out this UNLV game, but they have zero defense. Obviously, this morning kicked off a new show, if you will, with some other YouTubers. So it's been a pretty good Saturday, pretty busy Saturday. Got a interview after this show, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Got back-to-back interviews going on.
Right.
Let me ask you. I know this isn't in any way like part of the plan that we had for the show, but that UNLV game.
Yeah.
The first drive, I was like, okay, Alex can throw. This is awesome.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know, man. So I think the first drive they were doing a bunch of he made a couple throws, but I don't know. Is Alex Orji the quintessential drop back passer? No. Is he ever going to be? No. Has he ever been? No. Even in high school, he was not that. So
Yeah.
I think can he win in a gadget system or something like that? I think he can. He's built like maybe they should put him on defense. I'm gonna be honest with you, because they could use some defensive help.
I think if they were going to put him anywhere, I think he'd do well in like a wildcat.
Would he be the first player ever to play both ways as quarterback and like linebacker at the same time?
Well, I'm sure they did that back in Sammy Ball's day, but in modern day, I think so.
Speaking of Michigan and the Michigan alumni, that's probably a good place to start. Let's start about your early Michigan roots. Like, what's your earliest memory of becoming a Michigan Wolverines fan? Like, how did that come about?
You know what's funny is I actually became a Michigan fan due to basketball first, and that was with the Fab Five and Chris Webber and those guys. And I just remember, the fashion statements that they were making. They looked cool playing basketball. You know what I mean? And so that was one of the things that drew me to them. And then it being 5 freshmen players, so 5 young guys playing was another thing that drew me to them. So I think that was like my earliest Michigan fandom moment. But then as far as Michigan football, probably a couple years after that, Charles Woodson and those guys, is really when I really got into Michigan football. I forget the running back. He was massive, right from Michigan. Tyrone Wheatley, even a little before Charles Woodson. So those are my early memories of, being a Michigan fan.
You saw the cool look of the basketball, and then you're like, these guys are pretty all right. They were doing fantastic, and then you saw those winged helmets, and you were like, yeah, that's where it's at.
And then the helmets are cool. Yeah.
I mean, I can't lie. I'm much more into football now than basketball, but I legitimately think that the Fab Five were the earliest, not memory, but when Michigan became sort of a pop culture.
Yeah,
it was it was relevant to a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it was the cool thing at the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's something coming out of especially since you said before on the show, on your show, that you're originally from the Dayton area, right?
Yeah. So I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Born and raised really in Dayton. I moved to the DMV when I was 15 or 16. So I've been here longer than I was in Dayton, but those formative years
Right. Yeah.
were spent in Dayton. And all my family, as you know, listening to the show, every member, both on my mom's side and my father's side, are Ohio State fans. There's no getting away from it. Like not a single person is not an Ohio State fan. So, yeah.
You
So,
just
so
want
how did you growing up in a family of Ohio State fans? How did you gravitate toward Michigan? I mean, when you started, becoming a fan of the Fab Five, how did they not like cut that off to start? Was it just kind of like a rebellious thing just to give them crap every week, or was it like what was it?
Yeah. So, like I said, the Fab Five was a real thing. Like, so that wasn't necessarily about rebellion, because they're less Ohio State basketball fans. Although I'm sure they prefer Ohio State basketball over anybody else. So that one was kind of easy. It was kind of easy to transition into Michigan basketball. But while there, right, I'm like, oh well, I might as well just be. And it wasn't a might as well be a Michigan football fan. It was kind of even Michigan football isolated away from Michigan basketball, me. And
yeah.
it wasn't necessarily because I was a Michigan basketball fan that I became a Michigan football fan. It was just, oh, I happen to be a Michigan basketball fan too. But I think the biggest thing with the Michigan football is the rivalry is real, right? Especially if you live in those two states.
Yeah.
And where I grew up is literally an hour 15 hour and a half drive max to Columbus. So the size, it was almost like determined for me I was going to be an Ohio State fan, right? Like they just assumed that for me. But I remember like watching Tyrone Wheatley and these guys, Tim Batuka, like run all over Ohio State, and I'm like, why would I be a fan of this team? Especially during that time, during the 90s, Michigan was really just, taking it to that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. So it just didn't make sense I was like, I don't want to be rooting for these losers that lose
So it was the John Cooper effect.
Yeah, John Cooper probably, indirectly chose my fandom for me. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
So having like gone against the curve of everyone that you like your family in Ohio and whatnot,
Right.
becoming a Michigan fan, what has the Michigan football culture meant to you personally from that?
Yeah, so early on I wasn't necessarily networking with like other Michigan fans really. Like I would see people out that wear Michigan stuff and I would have on some Michigan stuff, so we kind of in passing a Go Blue or something like that, right? It wasn't until really that I got older and even like started a channel myself that I really like got into like the Michigan community, or start engaging in the Michigan community. You know what I mean? Like, because it was before that, it was just my fandom for myself,
Right.
to brag when we won, if we won during that time, because it was a long stretch there where we weren't beating Ohio State, right? So, to brag to my family and stuff like that. But it was kind of insular, my fandom, not like I wasn't wearing or outwardly expressing my fandom, but just I wasn't sharing my fandom with other Michigan people. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't any like community really that I was a part of really.
So it was kind of like a secret code of Michigan fans in like the Columbus Dayton area to just kind of walk by and just like a Hail Hydra but a Go Blue,
Oh well, yeah. If you can find them, not to say, because it is a lot of those guys. Wherever you are, even like if it's a professional team, right? Like out here, the Commanders are the team, but it's a bunch of Dallas Cowboy fans here, right?
Yeah.
So wherever you are in those kinds of situations, it's always going to be guys that root for the other team. Like I remember middle school, like some of my friends were Michigan fans, so we could, kind of have our own little community, if you will, a small one, but nothing to the degree that it is now, right?
Right. And I heard you mentioned your YouTube channel. What inspired you to start that channel, especially as like the Maize Mad Man?
Man, so this is a crazy story. So I started the Maize Mad Man because I was upset with Michigan recruiting at the time. I think it was 2021, right?
This was
maybe
right when
22.
NIL started to become a thing, but Michigan wasn't participating, right?
Yeah, it was. NIL was here, and Michigan was not really participating. And this is like, Jim Harbaugh doing the Jim Harbaugh thing and flirting with the NFL, which he did for a few years, especially at the end there.
Right.
So I was really like, I remember I signed up for 24/7. This is where it started. I signed up for 24/7. The Michigan channel, I forget what it's called. The Wolverine, maybe.
Yeah.
Or
I
is that
always get them
on
mixed up. Who's on which
on
one.
3, whichever one is 24/7, right?
Yeah.
I sign up, I get on a message board, and I'm like, yo, I'm going in on Michigan recruiting, right?
Yeah.
This is some bullshit, it's Michigan. We're supposed to be a lot better than this, the tradition here, blah, blah, blah. Only to, be rebuffed by fans like, hey, like, bro, it's okay, chill out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like these people, you don't get it. We should be recruiting at least as well as Ohio State because of, it being Michigan. And like, nobody wanted to hear that. So I was like, you know what? I got something better. I'm going to start my own YouTube channel to just ream Michigan recruiting. Now, here's the crazy part. I start the channel, I build, I create the YouTube, I create my email and everything, right? And I'm ready to go. But at this time, it's 2021 and Michigan starts fucking winning, right? and not just winning, but like it looks like it could be something, right?
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, man, I'm gonna look like a jerk. I get on here and just start going crazy on Jim Harbaugh and the recruiting, right? So even though that's what it started as, and my early videos, it's a lot of recruiting videos in there, right?
Yeah.
But I pivoted once, it started to turn a corner, right? And I think that was the best thing that I could do because again, I would look like an idiot out here, especially them making the playoffs in 21, 22, 23, right? And me out here like, yeah, but Michigan sucks and they need to recruit better, right? So I smartly pivoted. And that's basically why I started the channel. And it wasn't, I had no aspirations for the channel to be like where it is now, right? I believe we're over 7,100 subscribers and things like that. 1.9 million views, just hit that recently.
You just wanted a place to vent and get out an
Exactly.
opinion that you didn't feel you were
exactly right
seeing anywhere else.
Yeah, because it wasn't people around me that were like, I have no community around me. It was just, somewhere I could get my opinion off and like talking. But then I remember the day that I was like, okay, maybe I should like, go somewhere. But I don't want to jump ahead. If this is a question you have, whatever.
So you started the Maize Mad Man channel with the anticipation of just being angry, and then as soon as Michigan started doing well, you were like, "Well, I gotta be mad, but I can't be mad. They're doing good.
Right.
Well, what do I do?" And so you pivoted.
There was also like if it was the recruiting that originally like made you upset, right? Like the recruiting didn't get better in 2021. Like
it didn't, right?
I mean, we started winning on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
But your original reason for like being upset was still there for the next couple years.
Right. But the thing is, winning begets recruiting too, right? Like, so you win, and then naturally people look at you differently. Now with Michigan, because it had been, don't get me wrong, Jim Harbaugh got here and he recruited well those first couple years, right? He had a couple top 5 classes. When he first got here, Michigan recruiting was kind of trash, but he was able to, even in those last couple of weeks, that last few weeks, get something going and, get Michigan on the right track. So recruiting was doing okay. 2016 is a big moment for Michigan football and Michigan recruiting, right? Not to say that they didn't get talented classes after that, because they did, but losing that game, missing out on the playoffs once again, missing out on the Big Ten championship trip once again hurt, because if Michigan wins that game, they're likely going to go to the playoff, right? I think Wisconsin was in the championship game that year. I think we beat Wisconsin in that game. And I think, we can do some things, but the collective air, right, kind of came out of Michigan after that loss, because, we had been like knocking on that door, trying to get in there, and they kept beating us down. And then after that, Urban's last couple years just beat down Central in the game after 2016, right? 2017, it was a shot. But for the most part, Michigan really wasn't in those games, right?
Right. 2017 was supposed to be, but a lot of stuff happened that year.
So that really, whatever. I don't want to go too deep there, but that hurt Michigan in a lot of ways, like on a national level, the way people looked at Michigan, and then you had people like Feinbaum saying that Jim Harbaugh would never beat Ohio State, right? And then after 2016, and you get 17 and 18 and 19, it looks like Feinbaum is telling the truth, right?
Yeah.
And then, but that's what happens with those national narratives, is it becomes a narrative, and then once you don't correct it on the field, then it is the thing, and now recruits are looking at it that way, and people who are recruiting against Michigan are telling recruits that this is what it is, right? Especially if it's a Michigan-Ohio State battle, you have no shot really, unless that guy really wants to come to Michigan, or in the case of J.J. McCarthy, they neglect the hell out of him, right? So, there's a...
Thank God for Ryan Day.
Absolutely. He's the gift that keeps on giving.
He is definitely the GOAT that led us to a natty in 2023.
Yeah. So... but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. If we win that game, it looks a lot different for Michigan. Losing that game set us back.
So if you had to pick like a video or a moment in the time that you've been on YouTube and live and doing the Maize Mad Man show, what moment would you pick or video that really stood out to you and made you think like, wow, people are really watching and connecting with this?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know if I can answer that, because I don't know the my first 1,000 view video or whatever, right? My first even 500 view. I remember that though. I remember when I got even before 500, I got 100 views, right? 100, and I was like, man, yo, that's impressive, right? Because I was getting 17 views and whatever, right? And then you hit 100 views, and I was like, oh man, I'm doing something here, right? And what it was for me is it happened so fast. I was monetized within the first year, because I was doing this, and then it went boom, right? I was doing this, and then I hit 100, then it went 500, and then from 500 it went 1,000, and then there was a video I did when I believe Eric All was going to transfer. And that one specifically did 50,000 or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. I
went from a steady stream of views to then just
exactly that viewership, by the way, I think that's still the highest viewed video on my channel. And for a while there, I was just trying to chase that, right? I was chasing that feeling yo, I need to get 50,000 again. obviously I can do it. I'm gonna do 50,000 every time now, and we haven't done that since. But the point, and I'm not chasing that now either, right? Like, you know, I'm chasing consistency and getting better at the thing rather than that. But that was like the rabbit for me for a long time, is chasing that 50,000 from that Eric All video. But
what do you think it was about that video that caught the public's attention so much compared to the other content that you had?
Right. So Eric All had come off that, like, he had been going through the injury thing, right? And he really got some traction, if you will, or what's the word I'm looking for? 1 second. I'm getting out of this fantasy draft. All right, here we go. I'm focused.
Notoriety.
Well, not notoriety so much, but he had come off that Michigan State, I believe. No, Penn State game. He had that game where he scored that touchdown that pretty much won the game for Michigan in 21, I believe. And so he was kind of like a beloved figure in Michigan at the time. And then for him to like transfer afterwards, you know, I think that really, like, people were like, wait a minute, like, you know, what's going on? So I think all of those things kind of contributed to why that video did so well.
Was it so? Okay, so I don't, even as a Michigan fan, for me, like I've told you before, or at least touched on it, how I kind of was out of it for a few years because of all the medical stuff I had going on and whatnot. And I started getting back into it, into really following Michigan, I'd say midway through the, like, or maybe right towards the beginning of the 2022 season. And it was after that season when Eric All transferred, right?
Yeah.
Was it, I don't remember all of the stuff around that. Was it that big of a shock that he followed Cade out the door? Or was it like, was he expected to come back? And then what, like, with the news that they wouldn't clear him, or like, how did that all go down? Because I don't remember the exact timeline of that.
Yeah, so I think Michigan fans were expecting him to come back. I mean, hell, we expected him to be the man when he came back the next year. I think Colston was there. We might have just got the commitment from Colston or something like that. Loveland. But still, I think the expectation was for Eric All to come back and be good for Michigan. But you're right. There was some controversy around his back injury, period. Like, I mean, not him being.
Didn't he like go outside of the team to get evaluated or something?
Right.
And they didn't like that.
It was something like that. And you know, from his perspective, from he and his family's perspective, you know, you can kind of you get like their, I don't want to call it animosity, but, you know, just their second guessing of whatever it is, right? And for Michigan, you also understand, like, yo, like, you know, we provided, you know, this medical diagnosis or whatever. We provided the doctor, whatever, or in our system, however it works, right? So I understood it from both sides as a fan myself, but a lot of people didn't. A lot of people were on one side or the other, and most of those people, if you were Michigan fans, were on Michigan side. So, you know, you can understand it from that perspective.
Yeah, and I mean, when you don't know exactly what's going on, so you really have to just go off of like what you're hearing. It's hard to really accurately choose which side you want to be on. But luckily, you did your video, and it got massive amounts of views.
Yeah,
and I can say that there was around that time, like I think maybe later that year when I became aware of your channel. It was like the summer in between the 2022-2023 season. Yeah. I remember I started really, like, when I first started getting back into it, I didn't realize like the podcasting was as big as it was. And when I really started getting into following Michigan again, and then I just started seeing things on YouTube coming up, and I think the first YouTube channel I ever saw, like a Michigan show, was like Yoder.
Yeah.
And then from him I found Isaiah Hole.
Right.
And those were the only two that I was even aware of for like a good 3 or 4 months. And then it's like YouTube just started throwing everything at me. It threw me your channel, it threw me Darren's, it threw me Michigan Voice of College Football, it threw me like every channel. And it felt like to me like you like, and I've said this before, yours and TJ and John were the ones that really stood out to me. They didn't even show me Johnny until later. I don't know why. Yeah. But like, so there was a point where it's like every time you came out with a new video, you guys were one of the ones that I would listen to. I think I remember going back to, it was like the recruiting around that summer when we lost that recruit to Miami, the defensive end or defensive.
Oh, Edepaye.
No, not Edepaye. It was when we lost. It was a defensive guy that we lost to Miami.
Oh, he had a weird name too, though. I know you're talking about.
But it was like a big flip.
Right.
Or not a flip. It wasn't a flip. I don't think he ever committed to us, but it was like
that video also did that might be my second most popular video.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So we have Maniac in the chat here, and speaking of
shout out Maniac.
Yeah, shout out Maniac. He's been throwing some messages out for us. Speaking of the Maniac,
yeah,
how did that happen? How did you first meet the Maniac, and what made you think he'd be a good fit as a co-host?
Yeah, so the same. I think I met him first. Might have been like comments in the comment section, but I know on Instagram is where we really, had the most conversations, right? Like, and I think once, he reached out to me on Instagram, then I went and looked at his Instagram and I saw that he was doing a lot of boxing content. And I saw like, his energy and stuff like that. I was like, man, like this is cool. I also like noticed we kind of enjoyed, we met through OnlyFans. we enjoyed, we kind of have like similar viewpoints on a lot of things. So, that helps. But I think it was Instagram one day. He reached out. He's like, yo, I'd love to be on your show, man. Like, let me, I want, get up there and cook or whatever. Right. This is before I was doing call-in shows and stuff like that, I believe. So I was like, yeah, I remember like, yeah, like I'm gonna get you on there. And we had conversations after that even. And I always thought like in the back of my mind, like, yo, I'm gonna get this dude on. I just didn't know how or when, right? And
right.
I knew this one day I had a show coming up and I hadn't done. This is another thing that I found out about YouTube. Squirrel moment. I took breaks like a week or 2 weeks, and that hurts when you're in this space. So be wary of that, right? Like where you're not putting out any content. Right? People want the content because if they're not getting it from you, they're going to get it from somebody else, right? Like, so, and it's a bunch of Michigan channels, especially now. Like, it seems like there are Michigan channels popping up every day. So, you have to give them content or they're going to get content somewhere else, right? But anyway, back to that other point. It was one of those times where I had taken some time. And I was coming back and I made a video. I was going to come back that day, but I was not feeling great. I was very much under the weather. So I actually remembered him and I reached out to him maybe an hour or two before I was supposed to go on. And I was like, yo, like, are you good to go tonight? And he was like, yeah. So I was like, bet, I'm not feeling great. But I need that energy. You know what I mean? I need some energy and I just didn't have it. And so I brought him on that night. And he did great, man. People love, he's easy to like, unless you're a Buckeye fan.
Then he's gonna cook you.
And so, from that point forward, after that, I was like, yo, if you want to do this, I could bring, once a week, whatever it is, right? Like, and he was like, yeah, like I love to do that. So, from that point forward, it was just.
So was it when you reached out to him the first time? It was just you were thinking it was just gonna be a one-time thing. Help me out tonight. But did it immediately, like, was it during that show or was it like afterwards through conversation? Like, when did it, in your mind, transition from a one-time thing to, hey, maybe this would work as a sort of a permanent staple on the channel?
Yeah, I think during that show is when I was like, yo, this will probably, this is good, he's got excellent energy. he's got, you know, his little his little sayings and stuff. I think that was the first time we heard Burger King tech, right? And all
He's
of
got
these
me
things.
saying that on stuff too. Like I've been commenting on stuff saying,
so that was so it was easy. Like it was an easy decision after that to just, you know, bring them back and continue to work with them.
So was that kind of like that one after that first time you brought him on? Were you at that point thinking of English is not working with me right now. Was that during that show? Were you thinking in your head about possibly making it a permanent thing? And no, obviously you said that, but I mean like turning it into like a regular staple show. Like was that the birth of M&M Mondays?
Yeah, I don't know if that was like that day that I was like, yo, I'm gonna do this thing, this M&M Monday thing, but I know it wasn't long after that. If it wasn't that day, it wasn't long after. And you know, him being a maniac and me being Mad Man, it just made sense, you know, the M&M thing, playing off of that. So, excuse me, yeah, that's where that idea sparked from for sure.
So let me ask you a question then. So you got Maniac on there. Now I've sort of on a couple different places on a couple shows when they've asked me how I got in with you and Maniac and how, you know, that whole thing happened. From my side, I was a viewer of your show. I commented about the video game coming out and invited you to come play in one of the leagues that I was starting.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you and we would get on Discord and we would just sit there and talk football while playing. And you kept encouraging me to call in to your show sometimes. And I at the time, man, I was real nervous about it. I didn't think I would be like an addition to the show, but you convinced me, go ahead and call in. And then it felt like it happened really fast where there was like 2 or 3 weeks where I called in and then I called in on the show that you did as a guest host with TJ. Mm-hmm. And then you invited me to come on as a permanent co-host as well. How did that go from your side of it? Like, how did it go from you got Maniac on the show, you got the Maniac Mondays, you and I get together with the gaming. How did it go from that to you deciding, you know, that I would be a good addition to you and Maniac on the show?
So one of the things that that I learned quickly too, right, is Maniac has great energy, you know, and he offers a certain level of offers a certain thing, right? And I offer a certain thing, and I'm not talking about us being people of color necessarily. I'm just saying, although that is, you know, part of our offering, right? Is like, you know, we have this, you know, kind of, especially with Maniac, right? He has this, you know, raw kind of, he comes off, it's very raw. It's very, you know, matter of like, right, whatever he's thinking almost, right, is what you get. And then I thought like I'm able to kind of, you know, play both sides a little, you know, I can, you know, I can get a little dirty in terms of like, you know, what the content, and I also can, you know, refine the content a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So that kind of was great, and that works, and it can work, whatever, right? But I also think when I was talking football with Kinetic, playing the game and stuff, I noticed just, you know, like your ability to just have a different viewpoint. Like we're all Michigan fans, for instance, right?
Right.
And why you are a Michigan fan and why I'm a Michigan fan probably completely differ. And that is like part of like what makes, you know, you on work, right? And not just that, one of the bigger things, especially I think the show where you called in on TJ's show that I was on, I was like a guest on TJ's show, was you'll stand on your points, right? Which I think is important. And sometimes we clash on that, because I think like, okay, bro, like we get that's, you know, we get your point, but also, you know, there are other points. It's not just what you feel and view myopically, but, what other people feel and view, right? But I that's one of the reasons too that I think it made sense to bring you on, is that not just will you stand on your point, but it's also not an echo chamber of me and Maniac love this about Michigan and we love this or whatever, or we connect on like the hats we're wearing or whatever it is, right? It's not that echo chamber, and it's not an echo chamber of I just agree with what he said, because that's basically he's telling it from the same point of view that I like, right? And with you, it's more, hell, we have a whole outro now based off of a disagreement basically that we had on the show. But that's good though. Like, it's good for viewers, and because not everybody sees it the way I see it. Not everybody sees it the way Maniac sees it, right? There are people that agree with you on points that you make, right? Even though they might have been fans of the show before you ever came on, before Maniac ever came on, but it's not about that. It's about this is a point, this is a good point or whatever, right? And so we agree with that point, and we want that, not necessarily an echo chamber, because that's one of the things, and I'm glad we're on this now, and not to take shots at anybody else.
No, you're good,
right? But that's one of the things that those other channels, not other Michigan channels necessarily, but the Buckeye channels, right? One of the reasons that it's so easy to like tear apart their thing is because they all are an echo chamber of the same thing. Like if the Buckeye boys, for instance, and shout out to Mello and Dev, but if one of them had been like, okay, I don't think the hammer is going to drop, right? Or I don't think that it's going to be as bad as you think it's going to be, then that makes it look, not even makes it look, but that makes people have more faith in what you're saying, right? And I'm not saying that you have to disagree just to disagree, because I don't think we do. We don't disagree just to disagree, but we do disagree, and because we disagree, we can explain. Because we have the ability to explain our disagreements, it's exactly right, and yeah. He's absolutely right. But because we have the ability to explain our disagreements, right, whether the fan agrees with me or they agree with Kinetic or they agree with Maniac, it's entertaining and they're getting something out of it, right? Like I talked to Marmar outside of the show, right, and he's like, yo, like, forget what you're talking about. Connor Stallions is that, a hero, whatever, right? You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, like, I don't look at him that way. But again, like TJ does, right? Kinetic is a Connor Stallions fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as hero, but I'm definitely more on the side of his side of it than being upset with them or hating them.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, heck, the Tom Brady thing, right? All of those things, whether or not we are fans of Michigan players after they leave Michigan and stuff like that.
I actually think that argument was what sparked that outro.
Well, and some of that,
which one was
it?
Tom Brady,
no, you know what? It was actually Connor Stallions. I know that one was Connor Stallions. It was because I got upset about, like, if it wasn't to gain an advantage, then what are we doing it for, right? That I remember that specifically, like, because he's like, oh, it wasn't to gain an advantage, like, so then why do it? You know what I mean? And like that was that night. I know that for sure. Yeah.
Well, and I think so. So the thing is, like, okay, some of those things I do as kind of a. You can ask Mike this. Him and I have been friends for what, 8 years now, something like that, Mike.
8 or 9, yeah.
If I have an affinity for you as a friend, I will poke fun at you. I will hit you with the tropes and the jokes and stuff as kind of inside jokes, but open inside jokes, just to mess with you. Because, like, I don't know, that's just how I show my friendship for people. It's like we just, that's how I grew up. My friends and I, we constantly mess with each other in a good natured way.
Right.
So, like, when I hit you with the Tom Brady thing or I'm just poking for fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like, I think part of what you're saying, and it makes sense, is that, like, a lot of the shows, like you said, a lot of the shows with co-hosts, they come to their fandom from the same angle and the same place, and a lot or close enough to the same places that they, one of them will throw out a point and the other's like, yeah, I agree, and it's just like that the whole show. And they're gonna have, especially as your viewing base grows, you're gonna have people that are fans of the team that watch your show, and if you're only getting one sort of angle from it, they're going to be sitting there watching the shows and they're going to enjoy the show, but they're going to feel like, man, but there's nobody on there hitting them from this side. There's nobody challenging that. Right. There's nobody, asking them this question or saying, what about this? Right. And even if it's a minority portion of the fan base, like I do believe the majority of our fans or our viewers definitely agree with you and Maniac more often than they do with me, but there is a section of the viewership that constantly says I agree with Kinetic, like Antoine. Mm-hmm. I'll always I'm with Kinetic on that, Yeah. And so it kind of gives them a voice on the show for what they're feeling at the same time, and kind of helps them be more engaged with it as well. And so that sounds to me like what you're like describing a little bit.
Yeah. 1,000%.
And I will say, out of a lot of the especially to talk on the Buckeye show that you were referring to with I can't remember, Mello.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing that they do wrong that you guys do completely right is you have people who come at it from literally almost every angle you can. Like you have Kinetic, who's usually pretty logical about the situation. You have Maniac, who comes at it from way sometimes left field, but still on point. And then you have you, who kind of sees both sides. You're kind of like the middleman between the Maniac and Kinetic. And then also when you have other guests on, like Johnny, he also provides a very unique perspective, along with your other guests that you have co-host when it comes to the Blue Tube shows or the M&M Monday show. That's always a varying degree of viewpoints on the topic at hand.
And even with John and TJ, that's what makes the Avengers thing work when we get together for it.
Right. Yeah. And I do have, and then I got one final question for this block here. What is the funniest and most memorable moment that you've had working with Kinetic and Maniac?
Go ahead and roast me. I don't care. It's cool. Don't you can...
funniest or most memorable,
or the one that upset you the most, since you are the madman.
Well, obviously, there's the one that the that the outro is based off of. There's that one. There is what is another? I'm trying to think, man. This is good. I was not prepared for this question. I don't know. It's a lot of memorable things. I mean, the spring game is very memorable, but that wasn't necessarily on the show.
Hey, I tried to pay you for that. I tried to pay you for the bet.
Pause.
No. That's I'm trying to. Man, we've had a bunch of good moments. I don't know. I think with these interviews, a lot of the interviews have been really good. I think the Alistair Vallejo interview was great. Trying to think of another one that's really good. Every time Jalen Pyle is on, it's good. It's excellent. I love Jalen. Yeah, I don't want to disrespect anybody else by not naming all of the interviews have been great.
Well, I guess let's pivot to a question you might be able to answer. If you had to pick one, what would you say would be your favorite interview since you've been doing the channel?
Listen, they're all outdoing the last one lately, right?
Don't you dare say the Drew Aller one.
This one, well, Drew Aller is definitely top 5. This one we just did with Terrence Taylor, very good. The one right before that with Billy Taylor was very good. Mm-hmm. He's been through a lot.
Yep.
But Terrence Taylor right now, Chris Howard was good, but Terrence Taylor right now I'm gonna say is the one because his candidness
He brought a little bit of a different energy than I've seen on many
right.
And this isn't in any way a slight towards the other interviews, but
Yeah.
his energy, there was something about it, man. He was really into it. He was like, yeah,
Right.
ask me anything.
Super
But he was
engaged.
also wasn't a guest that was too afraid to push back on things too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I appreciate.
I guess a good way to explain it is he was real.
He was very genuine, very genuine.
And I like that. Like, it was, again, like, his candidness was appreciated, and I think that's shown through, honestly. And he was engaged, like you were saying. Like, it was like he wanted to be there, and this was the only thing he had going on. So yeah, that's my favorite one right now.
All right, real quick, I just as a little addendum to that. If you could have, obviously I know it's Charles Woodson, but aside from Charles Woodson, tomorrow you could book anybody for an interview next week. Anybody associated with Michigan, past or present. Who are you picking? Well, who's at the top of your wish list?
Well, Tom Brady would be at the top of the list.
Okay. Give us your top three. Give us your top three.
Yeah, top three. Michigan football. I think Tom Brady.
Or basketball, whoever. If you had your choice.
Okay. Tom Brady, Chris Webber, and man, this is tough. The third one, because it's so many names. I want to say Desmond Howard. I want to say Juwan Howard. I mean, not Juwan. No, not Juwan Howard. Jalen
Juwan Howard.
No disrespect to
we might get kicked off YouTube if we do that.
Top three. I would definitely love to interview Juwan Howard though. But I'll keep it. I'll keep it with a player that may. Jim Harbaugh. Definitely up there. But I'll just Jabril Peppers, probably the other one.
Definitely
just to keep it with players.
Jabril is easily one of my top 5 favorite players of all time.
Yeah, he's definitely a monster on the field, and he does a really, really good job at.
Definitely. Braylon Edwards. Oh man, so many good ones.
Listen, I remember watching Braylon when I was growing up. Is he the one with the fucked up finger that sits at like a 70-degree angle?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he does have messed up.
Because he had to have. I remember he had to have special gloves made. Because of his finger.
Yeah. Nasty work.
So community and growth. Do you think Michigan's recent success on the field has fueled more interest in your content?
You know what? This is actually a really interesting question because I always hear people say that controversy is the biggest one fueler. Like, so do you feel like you grew more in the controversial or grew more from the success of the team?
I mean, well, the team has only been successful really since I started the channel.
But you heard it here first. Maize is the reason we're doing so well.
Outside of last year, right? But even last year, we can chalk up to a success. They beat Ohio State. They beat Alabama in that bowl game. But I think, I mean, the biggest view videos on my channel, for instance, right, are kind of controversial, right? Michigan loses captain to transfer portal, right? That's the Eric All video.
Yep.
The video that I was referring to, or that Kinetic was referring to, where we lost
I can't remember his name, dude.
The recruit he's got a weird name. Yeah, we lost the recruit to Miami. That's one of the other videos that's very popular. But what is his name? Akiakpong or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Collins Achiapong, that's his name or something like that. But anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, I think it's hard to say if it's controversy that is the driving force of the growth. But I think success is the most consistent one, right? Like, because during this time, Michigan's been super successful. The channel grew the most early, right? I think.
Yeah.
It was like 1,000 to 4,000. It seems like very fast. 0 to 1,000 very fast. So yeah, I think success is the answer.
What kind of
Controversy
feedback
definitely sells, though.
What kind of feedback from fans sticks with you the most?
Well, early on it was, hey, like you sound like you're in a garage, and I was, and I got a microphone, a better microphone. I had like a little rinky-dink microphone. I moved it out of the garage into this is literally my laundry room, right? But it's in the basement and it's concrete all around except for behind me. So that helps with sound too. Like I'm getting, everything is kind of insular. I bought a desk. I was gifted this background. I bought this display, things like that, right? So it was all constructive criticism, especially early on things that people were saying, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. The sound, I think, is the one that sticks out the most, though. It was a lot of people like, hey, this sounds like you're talking in the toilet. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that I'm glad that I was kind of able to like already have like a decent microphone and like
Right.
a camera set up. One thing that's been helping me so far is having a NVIDIA graphics card, so I can use AI to take out the noise. Because if I turn off noise suppression, it's echoey as a mother in here.
Yeah,
I can hear myself through my headset.
Yeah, I don't know how my sound is not crap because I have like the barest bones, like entry level microphone, webcam, but I don't know. You guys have never said there was anything wrong with my sound, so
yeah.
So how do you balance being both a passionate fan and a content creator who also needs to analyze and critique?
And have those two things ever come at odds for you?
Yeah,
not really, man. This is something like I could do all day, every day, right? It's talk about Michigan football, right? I love watching Michigan football, and then talking about it is easy. Especially if you've been a fan as long as I've been a fan. I've seen a lot of things because I have been a fan as long as I am. I've gone back and learned about things I didn't know before, times I didn't know before. That's why I can appreciate players from the past and stuff like that. So that is really easy. It doesn't really clash for me. Like it is like a huge just it's easy and enjoyable for me to talk about Michigan football. I think what I think is the most non-enjoyable is the times that I'm doing like the pre-recorded videos.
yeah.
The time spent editing and stuff like that is the sucky part. But actually talking about it and stuff like that, that's easy.
So now that your channel is growing, you're starting to get a good following. You're getting your name out there. People are recognizing you more as the Maize Mad Man and less as who you actually are. So what was the reasoning behind rebranding from the Maize Mad Man to Maize Out Sports?
Yeah, so I just think it was needed because people like I'm the Maize Mad Man, right? Like people know me, they look at it and they know me. And I get that it's easy to go and search in your search bar Maize Mad Man or whatever, right? But because I've got bigger goals now, right? Like it's easier to like have the channel be called something else that is easier to brand and market than Maize Mad Man as the channel name, right? So Maize Out Sports, we're still keeping Maize in there. It's still something that Michigan fans know. Maize Out is a thing, right? It's identifiable. And then with the acronym, I think the acronyms are important, especially in things like this. And it's a lot of things that I can do with the acronym most, period, right? Like I got plans for that, including a website. So eventually we're gonna get into writing articles on a website and be more professional. I've already started the process of local media passes and stuff like that for the Gonzaga Oscar Smith game that's going to be played right here in Washington D.C. So there's that sort of thing, like, but that's the bigger thing in mind, right? Eventually, we're going to get into what Voice of College Football does, what Chat Sports does, right? That's where I'm at it now. Like, that's my vision now.
So if we're gonna start getting media passes, and I'm the guy here in Michigan, does that mean?
Well, we got a long way because Michigan, it's a lot harder to. I've already looked into getting media passes for Michigan and stuff like that, and it's a lot harder. Like, they're not just gonna give it to you because you have a YouTube channel, right?
Right.
So that's why the website is important. That's why actually writing is important, and things like that. Which I've done writing. I've done some writing for a tennis website. I've done writing for a hip hop website. So I've got kind of that experience too.
Yeah, I'll just say this: if it comes to that, I'm down.
Yeah.
So with the rebrand, you said you were talking about expanding the content like a website. Are you thinking of still keeping it primarily Michigan focused, or are you going to branch out into broader college football and other sports like NFL, basketball, hockey?
Yeah. So definitely the big picture is branching out, right? Not just other sports, but other programs. My specific interest will still be Michigan, right? But getting other people that are into Maryland or Miami or Nebraska, whatever, that's going to be a goal too, eventually.
I guess check out the looking forward. What do you think the future of Michigan football content on YouTube looks like? More podcasts, live watch-alongs, documentary style breakdowns? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I definitely see more channels popping up. I think it's Michigan football is kind of feeding families right now. Not just in the Michigan sphere, but you see other people with other channels that have kind of adopted Michigan content to, that's like their bigger viewerships and stuff like that. You see that, especially since this controversy. But I definitely see all of those things. There are going to be more live shows. There's going to be more pre-recorded, edited shows, all of that documentary style. We see Darren and those guys have already started kind of doing that. They're doing film breakdowns now and stuff like that. So I see it's a huge opportunity in this space.
So with you expanding the content and branching out to other things, are you I know you've already started kind of doing this, but are you going to be building out a more broader team for the channel, or are you going to try to keep it more of a tight group working on the channel? And
yeah, well, for this channel, for my channel specifically right now, that's a great question. I think once the website and stuff like that goes up, we're going to be looking to get interns, college kids that want to do broadcasting, want to do that sort of thing to write and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, eventually it will be a bigger production, a bigger deal. So yeah,
that'd be awesome. What do you have in mind for a timeline? Or do you have a timeline in mind right now?
You know what? I probably should. I should, start.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot right there.
Kind of bored, but no. The website though, I know that I'm gonna start that here within the next month. A website will be up for our content, where the YouTube content goes straight to the website, and you can get like bios and stuff like that, and then maybe even some merch. We'll get back into that, but yeah.
And finally, before we get to a rapid fire round, what's one message you'd like every Michigan fan to take away from your channel?
I think the biggest thing that I want people to take away is that, This is from a actual fan of Michigan football, and what we're giving you is our actual real thoughts, and the passion is real. Like, the love for Michigan football is there, and so what we're doing is trying to enhance people's experience with Michigan, bring it a little closer to you even than what you're watching at home when you're sitting watching it at home, and kind of immersing you in that experience, not just the game, but after the game, you're getting another experience of Michigan football before the game. During the week, you're getting an experience of Michigan football, whether it be interviews, whether it be an article now, whether it be just an update on Michigan recruiting, an update on what's happening with the coaches, whatever, a player from the past. So we're trying to give you a full experience as a fan.
So before we get you out of here, let's do like maybe like four quick questions, and then we'll close out here. So my first one is, who is your favorite Michigan player of all time?
Charles Woodson, without a doubt.
Eric.
Who? Okay. It's kind of a two-part question, but so rapid fire, I know. But player that has exceeded his expectations the most, and player that should have but didn't reach their expectations.
Player that exceeded, I think Blake Corum fits the player that exceeded. Mike Hart for sure fits the player that exceeded expectation. Player that didn't live up to the expectation. Jesus.
Which one had you the most excited and it just never panned out?
I don't think Jesus played for Michigan, but I think if he was still alive, he would.
He did. He played quarterback in 2023.
Exactly. So I think there's Joe Milton, easy. But even somebody who was decent but didn't pan out to what they were supposed to be at Michigan, Rashawn Gary, number one overall recruit in his recruiting class. And whether you blame it on his engine or his motor or the way he was used, I don't think we got the most out of him.
I got a two-parter as well. Yeah. You could choose one word to describe both the Maniac and Kinetic. What would that be? Like separately or together?
Yeah. So with the Maniac, definitely passionate, and with Kinetic, I think what's the word?
Sorry, you can say
stubborn. Stubborn for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so what? Okay, if let's say a viewer of your channel got inspired by your success to want to do what you do, or maybe just do something adjacent or similar, what's the biggest piece of advice you would give to him starting out?
Consistency and listening to criticisms. Yep.
And then my last one. This is probably one that every fan has always wanted to know. It's the one piece of information that would really make all of their days. What is your go-to game day snack or meal?
That's the one. Spicy Doritos. I'm a huge fan of spicy nacho Doritos. That's probably like the biggest one. I like spicy nacho Doritos. Actually, man, this is good. Spicy nacho Doritos is definitely number one though. I like cherry Pepsi. Spicy nacho Doritos, cherry Pepsi. And maybe pizza's a go-to.
Right.
That's easy. But yeah, I'll say pizza.
See, for me, it's got to be hot wings. I'm a wing fanatic, and having good wings and a drink, sitting at a bar somewhere watching Michigan football.
Yeah,
great. All right. So here's my final question for you is to reverse it. Is there anything? What's one question from either me or Lichamax that you just want to ask, maybe haven't to this point or didn't have a place to? What would or something you want to point out to us?
No, I mean, so okay, both of you guys originally from Michigan?
Yeah.
It's interesting. So he wasn't born here, but moved here as a kid.
All right.
I was born here, but moved away as a kid, and then came back a few years ago.
Got you. Why is this person's name not showing up? That's interesting. I know this number, it should show up. But okay, so you guys that's interesting. Okay. What about all right, I was gonna ask like how you guys came together for like the Discord thing, but you guys already knew each other. Did you go to school together?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll explain this a little bit, and you can interject what you want, Mike. So, like I said, I moved away as a kid, right? I moved when I was 10. We moved to California. 2 years later, we moved to Tennessee. I spent like 20 years in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I came back to Michigan the first time in 2017 to help my grandparents. Ended up staying to help my mother. And once I was here for like, I don't know, once I decided I was staying, because I originally just came to visit and help out. Once I decided I was staying in Michigan, I had to decide what I was going to do, like profession wise. And prior to that, I'd worked in the music industry. I'd, traveled all over the country, and I had no problem doing it. So I don't know. I decided to go get my CDL and drive a truck for a while. The very first day of class at the truck driving school in Cadillac, I pulled up next to another car that was sitting there waiting for the class to start, and it was Mike. And him and I sort of talked a little bit before the class. Throughout the 3 or 4 weeks that we were there, we became pretty decent friends.
I was there for I think like 2.5 weeks, and you had
I was there for 3.5. I was there 1 week longer than you. Yeah. And when we left there, he went to drive for Schneider, which is a big national company based out of Wisconsin.
Don't ever drive for them. Trust me.
I went to drive for a more local company here in Michigan out of Shepherd. It's no longer there, but called WDS. Mm-hmm. And him and I kept in touch. And it was like a month and a half, maybe less than that, after we had started at our jobs. Him and I were communicating, and he was just not happy at Schneider. So I was like, well, fuck it. Come over to WDS, and you and I can team drive.
Yeah.
And then literally like the week and a half before he was supposed to start with WDS, I had my near-death experience where I had a ruptured intestine and had to go in for I was in the hospital for like 3.5 weeks and had to have 2 major surgeries and a 3rd surgery a year later. And so he came over to the company right after I was hospitalized. And when I wasn't cleared to work, that was in October, end of October.
Yeah.
And I wasn't cleared to go back to work until February. And to help my mother and I pay bills at the time, he actually moved in with me into our spare bedroom to help us pay bills there. And then when I was cleared to work, but I was still had a bunch of problems with the medical aspect of what I was dealing with, he was so understanding and accommodating with me, team driving with me, with all the stuff that I was dealing with.
And I'm
we
not
just
gonna
became
lie,
good friends
and
then.
he was there. It did at times annoy the unholy hell out of me, but we got through it. I was still obviously I still helped the best I could, made sure he was good. But yeah, there were times where definitely when you're spending hours, days at a time in a truck.
Not just days. We were together for a month and a half at times.
Not
in
that
a
way
truck
though. Not that way.
On the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would drive while he was driving, I was sleeping in the bunk. When I was driving, he was sleeping.
Yeah.
It was just
after being that close for that long, you're gonna start getting annoyed with one another. It's just it's just naturally gonna happen.
But over the years we've continued being friends. I moved to Tennessee. I ended up getting him to move down there. We were roommates for a while. I got him working at the place I was driving for. Then I moved back up here. He's still there. But we just always remained friends. So
yeah, now I'm taking over where he brought me in.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we've been friends for I think 9 years now or something like that.
Yeah.
Dope, man. Dope. Yeah, man, that's dope. So Mike, you were always a Michigan fan?
Yeah, I was always a Michigan fan. I've got my first real actually look into Michigan fandom like around, I want to say 2000 and I think it was 2006. Like I wasn't really like watching the games because I didn't know how as a kid at the time, and my parents never really watched college football. I didn't know how to watch college football, so most of it was just hearsay, like about how the games went and everything. I was hearing about it, but I got into it because one of our family friends gave me a University of Michigan hat. It was the blue duckbill hat with the gold M on it, the gold block M.
Yeah.
He gave that to me, and that's kind of what really started me in as a Michigan fan. What's funny is this guy and his wife, they're opposites. He's a Michigan fan, she's a Michigan State fan, and they're married to each other. Not anymore, obviously, because Michigan and Michigan State. But yeah, that's how I got started in the Michigan fandom. I didn't actually when I later on in life I like watched a couple of the games. I wasn't really like real religious about it until like last season, or the not last season, but the Natty season was the first season where I really actually like started watching the games, because I seen like some big names starting to pop up in like my news feed on Facebook and whatnot. I was like, what's going on over here? What do they do? Well, apparently something's popping off in Michigan. I got to start watching these. And that's what got me to start watching the games more. Like I started out at like started back in at week 4 and followed forward from there. All the way up until we got to the Natty. And that's kind of what got me right back into the Michigan fandom from into the new era.
Gents, I know that we're at the end here anyway.
Yeah.
But I gotta run. Trenard's in the waiting for me. Hop over if you want.
Of course.
I appreciate this. Thank you, gentlemen, for
appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, and make sure if you guys haven't already, follow the Maize Mad Man over at the Maize Mad Man channel and everywhere.
Yes, sir. Everything Maize Mad Man.
Everything Maize Mad. Now let's fix this. All right, well that's our show today, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you again to the Maize Mad Man for coming on for this interview, and it was our first actual interview on the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it was a good time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our question lines. Kinetic, do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
No, I mean, just as always, follow us on the socials. You can find me everywhere at Kinetic615 on YouTube. I have Kinetic615. I also have Kinetic615 Plays. With our guests that we just had, you can find us both on Monday evenings over at the Maize Mad Man channel, soon to be Maize Out Sports. If you get a chance, check the description for the GoFundMe link. Look through this, read through the situation that I'm currently going through, and if you're able to donate, even if it's just a couple of dollars, I appreciate it. Even if you're not able to donate, just sharing the link out on socials helps a ton. So I appreciate that. And until the next time.
And before we officially close out, and also you can find me at Lichmac626 on both YouTube and Twitch, also on X. Obviously here on the Gamer Sideline every Saturday around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then you can also find me during the football season over on the Maize Mad Man channel as Statboy 2.0, where I'll be correcting what they get wrong. So make sure that
I'm never going. I don't know what
I don't know about that, but make sure you guys like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video with your friends and family if you can, and always remember, play hard, cheer loud, and meet us back right here on the sideline next time. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
From joystick dreams to Friday night lights, it's controllers and cleats under podcast mics with Life Max dropping deep like he's throwing a bomb, and Kinetic calling audible, staying calm in the storm. From the field to the sticks, yeah, we bring the heat. With Kinetic and Leash Max, never miss a beat. When the final whistle blows or the credits roll, we're signing off strong, that's how gamers take control. Catch us on the sideline, where legends chill, where the playbooks flip and the passion's real. If you heard the takes, then you know the drill. Till next time, fam, keep it clutch, keep it skill. From the field to the sticks, yeah, we bring the heat. With Kinetic and Lick Schmacks, never miss a beat. When the headset's off and the lights go low, we'll be back next game, y'all already know. We out.